Don't you feel regret when you buy something you don't need just because the seller was kind and convincing? How many times did you fall for this trap? And what about those times when you only bought things because your friends own them? Have you ever felt jealous of a friend? Do you find it difficult to make a decision when you face many choices? If your answer is yes, then you are like many others. You are a person who's obsessed with the wrong idea. In this summary of the book, The Art of Clear Thinking, you will discover why people fail at thinking clearly and how these mental blocks are avoided. You will learn about cognitive distortions and mental shortcomings and its benefits and disadvantages. This summary will help you become more logical and make better decisions. Stay with us until the end of this audio summary to uncover the secrets of clear thinking. Through this, you will prepare yourself with tools to enhance your decision-making skills and lead a more rational life. Welcome to the Audiobook channel. If you are looking for inspiring and useful content, we are here to present to you the best we have. We present tips about self-development, reviews of books, and many exciting content that will help you achieve your goals. Do not forget to subscribe to the channel and activate the bell to receive new updates. Join us in this fun journey and share your thoughts and comments in the videos. We love to communicate with you. Thank you for your support, and we look forward to seeing you on the channel. The Black Pagoda. For centuries, people thought that the pagoda was only white. No one saw a pagoda of any other color. Therefore, it was universally recognized that the pagoda could only be white. However, in 1697, an explorer discovered the pagoda of William D. Fleming, a black pagoda in Australia. Since then, the term Black Pagoda has been referred to as the rare event. Impossible, unexpected, and amazing. The economist and writer Nassim Nicholas explains this concept in his book, The Black Death. The term Black Death is used to describe economic, political, and social accidents that cannot be avoided and are impossible to predict. Let's look at an example. Every day, Dow Jones's indexes fluctuate slightly up or down. Usually, investors do not be affected by these small changes in the stock market. However, on October 19, 1987, the market saw a sudden drop of 22%. This collapse had a global impact and is still considered a historic event. Similarly, the event of the black market can affect your job, your work, your life, or your country. The black hole can be positive or negative. For example, getting a big opportunity in your career or discovering a gold mine are two examples of positive events for the black hole. On the contrary, the impact of huge planets on the Earth will be an example of a negative event for the black hole. There are many things we know and known facts, and things we know that we do not know are known unknowns, and things we know that we do not know are unknown unknowns. The known facts are clear, like general knowledge. As for known unknowns, they are similar questions. What is the size of the universe? Does the internet make us smarter or more stupid? We may find answers to these questions in the future, but unknown unknowns are different. For example, 2 centuries ago, no one could have predicted that social media would control our lives. So why do we need to know about the black sheep? Because it has become an increasing importance in recent years. We are planning for the future, but that does not prepare us completely for the events of the black sheep. In addition, our brains have developed to help us hunt and collect food. Our ancestors in the Stone Age did not face anything unusual. They were simply chasing the J.K. Rowling, Larry Bidge, and Usain Paulet, who have achieved great success and wealth through innovation. and that has only become possible in recent years. So how can we benefit from the knowledge of black magic? Put yourself in a position where you have the ability to achieve positive black magic. Successful businessmen, artists, and investors often have more opportunities because many people are in a stage where they value their products. On the other hand, employees, journalists, or dentists who sell their time have fewer opportunities because their big opportunity will never come. In general, you can protect yourself from negative blackmail by avoiding debts, saving money, and investing wisely. You can either deposit the money or you have a big chance. The social evidence. Imagine that you are on your way to a music show. On the road, you see a crowd of people looking at the sky. By nature, you want to know what is happening, so you also look at the sky. This is called a social evidence. In the show, the individual player shows an exceptional skill. A person from the audience starts with the applause, and everyone joins quickly, including you, to the applause. This is also a social evidence. After the party is over, you go to the counter to receive your salary. You see some people leaving a receipt for the workers, even though the service drawings were included in the price of the party's memory. Because of the social evidence, you also leave a receipt for the workers. The social evidence can also be called the mental illness. This happens when other people follow, believing that what they do is right. When many people do something or believe in something, it is assumed that it is behavior or the right idea. It makes people think less. The social evidence moves the food and the directions. However, it can also have negative effects, such as when people are in the market or commit a mass suicide in the name of religion. In the 5th, the famous psychologist Solomon Asch conducted a simple experiment that showed how the pressure of the cells could distort the solid area. One participant was given a paper with 4 lines drawn on it. The task was to choose the line that matches the height of the original line. The line was shorter than the original line, and the line was longer than the original line, and the line was the same height as the original line. When he was alone in the test room, he always chose the right answer and found the task easy. However, the scientist then assigned 5 actors to participate in the test with the participant. The actors were directed to choose the line A, L, E, E, F as their answer. After hearing their response, the participant became confused and chose the wrong answer 33%. Instead of Jim's line, "Why does social evidence affect us deeply?" It was a good strategy for survival for our ancestors. Imagine that 50,000 years ago, you were hunting with others. Suddenly, everyone starts running and hiding behind the trees. What will you do? Will you stop to think about what you have seen as a lion or an animal hunting? No, you will follow the group immediately. First, thinking. In those times, those who acted differently did not succeed. You are from the generation of those who failed others and succeeded. Therefore, social evidence is deeply rooted in us. We still use it even when it does not help us in our lives. Businesses, governments, and leaders often take advantage of our weakness towards social evidence. Comedy and dialogue programs and record laughter during the Nika to encourage people to laugh. Another example of social evidence is when the minister of Nazi propaganda, Joseph Goebbels, delivered a speech in 1943. You can find a video of him on the internet. Germany was losing the war, and the Nazis were torturing people to fight. Goebbels asked, "Do you want a complete war? Do you want a war more extreme than anything that has been seen before? The Hajj and the cost of drowning." One night, the writer, Rolf Dobelli, and his wife were watching a movie in the cinema. In the middle of the movie, Rolf suggested that they go back home because the movie was boring. However, his wife insisted that they shouldn't waste the $30 they spent on the ticket. Rolf replied, "No, that money has actually drowned. We have spent it on the ticket, so it doesn't matter if we watch the film or not." His wife looked at him like he was crazy. In the end, she won. Rolf was forced to stay and watch the rest of the film. The next morning, Rolf attended a marketing meeting. The team had started an ad campaign 4 months ago, but it did not achieve any benefits so far. Rolf was among those who wanted to close the campaign, but the ad manager insisted that they invested a lot of money to get rid of it halfway. This is an example of a victim of a delusional cost. Rolf had a friend in a close relationship for many years. The girl would repeatedly betray him and apologize, and prepare him for not repeating that. The friend admitted to Rolf that he invested a lot in the relationship, so that it was not easy or right to withdraw. The price of a product is high when we invest a lot of time, energy, money, or love in something. This investment keeps us connected with it, even when we have lost a lot. The more we invest, the more we want to continue. Most investors are victims of this illusion. When they buy the products, they focus only on the current price, which is wrong. Must consider the current and future prices as a contribution. Investors should not save their assets just because they spent a large amount of money on buying them. If they did not expect the assets to perform well, they should sell them and buy better assets. This way, they can avoid greater losses and take better opportunities. The cost of our need for stability and our desire to be reliable depends on the cost of our burden. We do not want to deny our previous decisions or admit our mistakes. Instead of facing the truth, we show that everything is well. For example, Concorde was a project of a supersonic aircraft developed by the two governments of the United Kingdom and France. The two governments realized that the project may not be successful at all, but they continued to invest money to protect their faces. The closure of the Concorde project meant the recognition of their mistakes. The United States committed a similar mistake during the Vietnam War. Although it became clear that America was losing, it continued to fight. They invested a lot in the war so that they could not bear the defeat. Now, it's your turn to think. Do you think you've invested a lot of time, energy, money, and attention in something that has no longer worked? Don't focus on the amount of what you've spent on it. Instead, if you can give up on it, do that and think about the future. Holding on to it will only lead to more losses and lost opportunities for better things. Reciprocity. Have you ever faced a situation in a train station where members of a religious sect approach you, trying to give you flowers or other elements, saying that they are a gift or a free gift? You may want to reject and leave, but you cannot, and you end up accepting what they offer. Later, you see another sect member asking for donation. This means that the exchange is interchanged. This is the secret behind the success of many sales campaigns and technologies. The person does not want to feel that he is a debtor to the other and wants to return the favor. For this reason, some individuals or groups of this technology use to distribute things for free, hoping that in return they will do something for them. Most of the time, non-governmental organizations and good organizations apply the principle of treating, like, for example, an environmental organization may distribute nice cold cards. They send these cards with a message that says that the card is a gift, and you can keep it even if you do not want to donate to the organization. Even if you know that it is their strategy, you will not be able to throw the card in the trash. You can consider treating the trash as a form of gentle mischief or simple corruption. A salesman invites you to a free program and tells you that you don't have to buy their products, so you don't need to buy anything. But after hearing that, you may feel the desire to order something. The salesman will make you feel that you are a model for him, and buying what he sells is a way to increase this feeling. The technology of handling money has existed since ancient times. At those times, there was no guarantee of food every day. Imagine that one day you were lucky enough to catch a large gazelle. You can't eat all the gazelles in one day, so you share some with your companion. On the other hand, the next time your companion catches a large animal, they will share it with you. Besides being a survival technique, it also works like a risk management. The trade with the same kind of people becomes the key to cooperation between people who are not connected to each other. It is necessary for business, money, and growth. Without trade with the same kind of people and exchange, there would be no understanding of the global economy. These are the positive aspects of dealing with the same kind of people. Nevertheless, the desire and desire to take revenge are the negative aspects, until one of them decides to give up. This shows the sense of revenge. Now, after you have learned how to treat a person like that, the next time a person tries to give you something for free, understand that they want something from you in return. What situation might make you feel bad? Your friend gets a salary increase while your salary remains the same. B. Your salary and your friend's salary remain unchanged. C. Your salary and your friend's salary are reduced by 10%. If your answer is situation A, do not worry. You feel jealous like many others. Jealousy is a natural feeling, is part of human nature. There's an old story that says a farmer found a magical lamp. When he left, a djinn appeared. The djinn said that he would make the farmer a single wish. The farmer thought a little and then said, "My friend has a cow, but I do not have one. So I wish my friend's cow died." This seems strange, isn't it? But maybe you were in a similar situation at a certain stage. If your colleague has a big reward and you only got a small gift, you may feel angry. You may avoid that colleague, refuse his help, or oppose his suggestions. You may even wish for something bad to happen to him. Anger is a feeling of shame. Unlike anger or sadness, it is easier to ignore it. Feeling angry will not bring you anything. You may feel angry from someone's money, or his place, or his beauty, or his talent or his success, but that will make you unhappy and waste your time. It is often considered that jealousy and envy are the same thing, but there is a difference. Jealousy is paid with a desire for something, while envy is paid with a fear of losing something. Jealousy happens between two people, while envy includes 3 people. For example, Josh feels jealous of Sam because the beautiful girl next to him. We usually feel jealous of people who look like us in age, profession, or position. We don't feel jealous of a person who started his career years ago. We don't feel jealous of animals or plants. We don't feel jealous of millionaires in another country. But we feel jealous of the millionaire who lives in our city. We feel jealous of successful people who have a similar background to ours. If you are an executive manager, you will feel like another rich executive manager. If you are a fashion designer, you will feel like a more famous fashion designer. As Aristotle said, the proud feels like another proud. This leads us to a practical mistake. Imagine that your successful company becomes successful and moves from a crowded neighborhood in New York to the Upper East Side for a few months. You enjoy your money and your place. Your friends like your new title and achievements. But soon, you realize that many people in the Upper East have better apartments than your apartment. Among your new friends, you are the weakest financially. Things you were not concerned about before, such as luxurious goods and nuclear weapons, are starting to bother you. How can you control your jealousy? First, stop comparing yourself to others. Second, look for your unique abilities in a field you excel in. The extent of this field doesn't matter. What matters is that you are the best in it. Anger, like all feelings, has roots in our ancestors. Imagine that your neighbor in the neighboring cave took a larger part of an animal and gave you a smaller piece. You would feel angry and promise to hunt a bigger animal next time to ask for a larger part. The first human beings who didn't care much or were not paid to work seriously were forced to leave. We are the ones who are angry. Nevertheless, in the modern world, anger is no longer necessary for survival. If your colleague bought a Porsche car, that doesn't mean he took anything from you. Remember, don't be angry with anyone. Instead, take advantage of the chance to be angry with someone, which you dream of becoming, and strive to reach that level. The choice was made. Once, Rolf Dobelli conducted a search in his local store. Pesticides, 48 types of fertilizers, 46 products for cleaning, and about 30,000 products for sale. This proves that people today have many options, including thousands of jobs and hundreds of mental disorders, and a number that is not measured by the direction of the holidays. Historically, humans did not have many options. When Rolf was young, there were only 3 types of yogurt, 2 television channels, 2 types of cheese, and a mobile service run by Swiss. You will find countless signs of trade, models, and services. The presence of more options now is a standard for progress. It distinguishes us from our ancestors from the previous centuries. Yes, the presence of more options is exciting, but only to a certain extent. When there are many options, it can negatively affect the quality of our lives. This concept is called the random choice. This is explained by Paris Schwartz himself in his book, The Difference of Choice. Basically, you can bring many choices to a mental waterfall. Supermarket conducted an experiment once. They prepared a cup where customers could taste the jelly for free. There were 24 types of jelly. Customers could taste the number they wanted, then buy it at a low price. The next day, the owner of the supermarket decided to experiment, but only presented 6 flavors of the jelly. What was the result? He bought more jelly on the second day. On the first day, people found it difficult to choose between 24 different types of jelly, so they did not buy anything. The owner of the supermarket tried the same experiment with other products and got the same result. More products were sold when there were fewer options. Another reason for the choice to be so different is that there are many options that often lead to bad decisions. For example, if you ask university students about the attributes they want in life, they may remember a common attribute such as kindness, intelligence, and a good sense of fruity. But do university students really think about these attributes when they are promised? A few years ago, a young man in a village could have chosen a company of 20 girls to grow with. They knew each other's families and their backgrounds well. Here, the young man's decision depended on the common positive qualities. Today, young people have options, such as online dating, where they can choose between millions of people. But with the presence of many options, it becomes difficult to choose only one. Therefore, their minds determine the criteria for making a decision based on the external appearance. A third reason for the sudden choice is that the presence of many options leads to a lack of satisfaction. For example, if you wanted to buy new shoes and the store had 2 different types, how can you be sure that you will choose the best pair? The answer is that you can't. The more choices you make, the more confused and displeased you are. What is the solution to this problem? The solution is to think carefully about what you prefer before going to the store or searching the internet. Put your standards in place and stick to them. Also, accept that you will never be able to make a similar decision. Learn to be happy and satisfied with what you choose. This also applies to the life partner. You will not find the ideal person, so learn to accept and love the person you choose, which is a sin. In 1981, Max Planck was awarded the Nobel Prize in Physics and began a tour all over Germany. Wherever he went, he gave lectures on how many mechanics there were, and he would give the same lecture every time. Planck, who accompanied him on this tour, memorized every word of the lecture very quickly. He said to Blank, "Don't you have a desire to give the same lecture again and again, Mr. Blank? What if I give the lecture in Munich this time? You can sit in the first row, sitting in the driver's seat, and it will show that I am you until you take a break." Blank found the idea enjoyable and consistent. In that lecture in Munich, the driver gave a long lecture on how many mechanics, and no one noticed anything unusual. After that, a teacher in physics asked a question. The driver replied, "I never thought that a new city like Munich would ask such a simple question. The driver will help me answer that." Of course, Max Planck presented the answer as a driver. Knowledge comes in 2 forms. The first is the real knowledge. This is for those who spend time and effort to study a subject in detail. The second is the knowledge of the driver. This is when a person studies a subject in a superficial way to impress others or to show the cultural appearance. People who have the knowledge of the driver present themselves in a good way, with a good voice and appearance, but their understanding is superficial, and they usually speak from a written text. Unfortunately, we are often misled by the knowledge of the driver. The news media and some journalists are key examples of this. The news media seem to be good at presenting the topics they present, but in reality, they just read a text in advance. They organize collective discussions about topics they may not fully understand. On the other hand, some journalists have a real knowledge they have gained through years of research, trying to understand the depth of the subject and the stories of the people involved. However, many journalists still fall into the category of the driver's knowledge. They write articles based on Google and the rumors. Their reports are often very superficial and ridiculous because they lack the real understanding. To avoid a false, they realize their limits of knowledge. If they are asked a question they cannot answer, they will admit by saying, "I don't know." As for the occupiers, on the other hand, they will not say that directly. Instead, they avoid the question or use complicated words to cover their ignorance. In the meantime, Joe Gerard is selling cars, maybe the most successful car seller in the world. Joe gave all sales executives a clear advice. Selling is a successful technique that makes the employee think that you love him and that you care about his interests. Joe used to send a card to his customers every month saying, "I love you." This concept is called that they attract us physically. Secondly, they have a background, personality, or similar interests to us. Thirdly, they make us feel that we are loved or valued. They use the first and second criteria for advertising. Advertising often contains attractive people. It is rare to see people who do not enjoy visual attraction in ads, and usually they are not friendly or comfortable. In addition to attractive people, ads also contain individuals who seem like us, which indicates that they come from similar backgrounds. For example, the ads of cleaners are often on the shelves of homes because they are the target audience of the product. The tradition is another technology used in ads. In this technique, the seller reduces the words of the potential client, his gestures and expressions of his face. For example, if the client speaks slowly and shakes his head, the seller does the same thing. This makes the customer feel that the seller is similar to him, which leads to admiration for the seller and the purchase of the product. It doesn't look like this age, and this color suits you well. These contests make us feel that sellers love us, which is the third standard mentioned above. Shopping benefits many levels of the need for admiration. Take, for example, Tobroir, a company worth $2 billion, has high-quality plastic bags. However, the sales of tuberose are higher because the salesmen have home-run events. This is how marketing covers many levels of the second and third standards, which are similarity and building friendship with the client. Non-governmental organizations also use the harsh appearance of those affected by the ads, even though they also need our support. The defenders of the environment also choose which animals they show in their ads. Bacteria in there, they use pictures of a gentle panda. A David once made a deal worth $10 million for a pipeline in the country. Rolf and his friend made fun of him, pointing out that he was sure that he had bought the deal in a hurry. But that was not the case. During the meeting, David and his colleagues started talking about the seas. They discovered that they both love the seas, and their business meetings quickly turned into a discussion about the seas. From that moment, David became good friends with you, which led to David's deal. If you are a sales representative, consult with your customers. Think positively about their direction. If you are a salesperson, focus on what is good for you. Give less attention to sales. The end. First, you learned about the blackmail. This concept is related to rare and unexpected events. By saving money and avoiding debts, and being an investment, you can avoid the negative events of blackmail. Second, you learned about social evidence. This happens when people follow the majority behavior to avoid falling into this trap. Take some time to think about yourself before making decisions. Third, learn from the mistake of the heavy burden. This indicates the mistake of continuing to invest in something because you have invested a lot in it, even when it is no longer useful. Focus on the possible future losses instead of the past investments. Fourth, learn from the same treatment. This is the process of giving and receiving, and you will be rewarded with benefits and rewards. Be careful with those who offer you free things or do free services because they are likely to expect something in return. Fifth, understand the anger. It is a natural emotion, but the process of choosing is harder and more stressful. The solution is to think carefully about what you want and to be satisfied with your choice. 7. You learned about the driver's knowledge. Many people show off that they are experts. Do not be fooled by these people. Real experts admit when they do not know anything, while the occupants do not do that at all. Finally, you learned about the need for admiration. We have 3 criteria for liking people: physical attraction, similarity with us, and the feeling that they love us. Salesmen, politicians, and advertisers use these criteria. Therefore, choose products based on their performance, not on the person who sells them. This indicates the error of knowledge, to not think clearly. It is amazing that we think and act in an unbiased way in certain modes, and the psychologists have studied this for years. Now, after you have learned many cognitive errors, you can avoid them. We cannot completely eliminate them, because as we have learned, cognitive errors have evolved as part of our survival mechanism. However, through awareness of its influence, we can make more logical decisions in our personal lives. By doing so, we can save ourselves from the problems and ideas and the illogical decisions we make. I have now embarked on a journey through the exciting ideas to explain the art of thinking to Rolf Dobelli. From the understanding of the unimaginable nature of the warning for the events of the Black Death, and the influence of social evidence, introduction of about how to move in the complexity of human thought, as you learned about the dangers of jealousy, the sudden choice of the excessive, the deception of the driver's knowledge, and the deep influence of the need for admiration. Each of these cognitive errors make our mind and mind clear and lead us to wrong paths. But with awareness and understanding, you can avoid this mental confusion. Remember, cognitive errors are part of our evolutionary formation. But through awareness, you can make more logical and consistent decisions in your personal life, your profession, and your organization. This awareness will help you protect yourself from problems that cause you and your irrational thoughts. Thank you for listening to this short book. We hope it has given you the tools to think more clearly and make better decisions. For more useful summaries and other content on our channel, we are downloading summaries for a wide range of books,